If you're an artist that has a lot of different paintings and is like, how can I make a product to be able to give to people that adds a lot of value to their lives? Then you're like me. I'm an artist. I had a lot of paintings that I thought, I can make something here that can add value to people's lives. And my thought went right to a calendar. And so it became a thing. And I made a calendar that you can hang on the wall. And I learned a whole lot during it. So I want to break down everything that was learned in that journey and everything that I did in the process, from where it started on my iPad, painting the pictures for it, all the way up until I was giving it to people, selling as a product. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm going to teach you today how to make and sell a calendar. My mom used calendars as a boy growing up, and I would see her documented birthdays and different special events on it. And when I was thinking about making my own calendar, that was pretty much what I referenced. I referenced what I saw as a kid growing up. Starting out here, you can see my iPad screen, and I'm showing the different paintings that are included in the calendar. As I was working, I learned a lot about the quality of work that I wanted to have in this, because I was thinking about it being on people's walls. And I think this is a really powerful thing you can do as an artist to quickly upgrade your skill level, is imagining someone putting the painting that you're creating on their wall, a physical version of it. And what that does for me when I think about it is I'm like, would I buy something like this? Would I buy a product of this quality? Is this something that I would be proud of to show to different friends or neighbors as they come over to my house? And all of those questions really helped me to push through that awkward phase. I don't know if you can relate when you are kind of like, I don't know how to draw anymore. This looks horrible. But pushing through that and figuring out what looks right and how to make this an appealing, picture. And the unique thing about my calendar that I wanted to convey is that it's included in these inspiring stories. So every illustration, I also wanted to have a hint of, inspiration from the Bible, something that could, inspire whoever's looking at it. After making the paintings and going over them and over them and over them, I watched a video that I'll put in the description down below. Super, super helpful about how to do this, how to make and sell a calendar. He mentions a website in that video that I went to. And on this website, you can find templates for different sizes of calendars and different stitching of calendars. So when you're making one, you can go with saddle stitched or with spiral bound. And they both have different perks. I ultimately went with saddle stitch, mostly because that reference of the calendar when I was growing up as a kid that my mom would use was saddle stitched. And I was like, okay, that's the one people would probably like more. I come to find out now that people also really enjoy spiral bound, so I don't think you can really go wrong there. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But the important thing about that website is I found the template that I needed, downloaded it, and then what was really nice about that is it created a PDF for me that I could go through and see exactly what the calendar would be, how it would need to be printed kind of thing, and what placement of different things. And the biggest perk about using a template is it's got all the days in there already, and the numbers are on the right days, so you don't have to do any of that stuff. And for my first one, for this one, I went with the font that was on the template. I just kind of put a different like canvas background in the back to kind of give it that look that I wanted. That was it. And then I started adding the artwork on it. After I put all of them in, I was like, okay, the interior is pretty solid. And I realized there's 2 extra blank pages. And looking at it, I was like, what do I do with these 2 extra pages? And of course, went right to, I need to make another picture. And so I went back and made another picture. The reason there's 2 more pages, so you've got all 12 months in the calendar, then there's gonna be 2 more, which you can leave blank, but I decided to not leave them blank because I thought it was a prime opportunity to add some extra flavor to it. But these 2 extra pages are there because the saddle stitch binding requires multiples of 4. After putting all the interior in, I realized, okay, now I need a good cover and I need a good back cover. So research time, I went online and was looking at calendars.com at all these different calendars that are already on the market. And this is something that I frequently do for any products that I'm making, is I go and see what's on the market already. I think this is a really good practice because sometimes as artists, at least for me, when I kind of get carried away with the art and the creativity of it, I sometimes forget the need that it's serving. I think there's a good marriage between those two things. If you can blend the practicality of it and the beauty and the creativity of it, you can create something really appealing for the marketplace. And so after researching and finding all these different things, I grabbed a couple different ideas that I liked and things I wanted to include and started playing around. My branding also uses some certain fonts, and so those are the fonts I used on the cover, and just started playing around with the design of it, front and back. The back, I think, was a little more challenging because on the front I was just able to include one of the interior pages and put some text on there of what I wanted to emphasize. And then the back, that was the one during my research where I found just lots of variety. Biggest thing they included is all 12 months, so I made sure to have that. And then, you know, I also had different blurbs of text that were kind of introducing myself and why this work is important. Fit it all into the right area that it needed to be to make a good back cover. If I was to do it again, I'd add some more different copyright things and a barcode area, all these things I didn't really think about. After getting the back cover and the front cover there, then I moved into manufacturing. Looking at the website that I got the template from, I went on to start getting quotes on what the per unit cost would be to print and fulfill these calendars. And the per unit cost was like $10 to $13 on a lot of different websites that I checked. And it took me 3 or 4 days of researching these different websites to find one that fit the bill. You know, because I needed to drop my cost pretty low, but this was in October 2022, and calendar season, when people buy calendars, is October, really September through December/January. And so I was trying to get this out in the market. At the time, people are already buying it. So I can't do overseas manufacturing because that's just not going to be feasible time-wise. And so I needed to find a US-based company. Ultimately, I found a website called Printivity.com and found the quote to be incredibly low compared to everything else. It was about half, about $5-ish, give or take, per calendar. I was blown away. I was like, how are they able to do this? I was really questioning the quality, so I got on the phone with them and was asking about the history of the business, finding out if they could really deliver a good quality product. And I didn't have too much time for proofing, so I was like, you know, let's just do it. And after getting peace of mind from them, pulled the plug, told them to manufacture the calendar. They did, and it got to me in a week or two, which is mind-blowing. And it was true. It only cost me $5, give or take, per calendar. And they even gave me a first customer discount. So I'd highly recommend Printivity from what I was able to find. If you find something better, please send it to me. I'm always interested in finding, you know, some good companies that are doing great things in the nation. After getting it from the manufacturer, I was able to see that everything was kind of how I wanted it to be, and that template helped so much to make that happen. You'll get a good product, and it'll come and it'll be great. And I ordered 250 of them, was able to take them to shows and start giving them to people and selling them online and all that kind of thing. I hope that you got a lot of value from this video. My previous videos are much shorter, and I wanted to go more in depth with this one to really try it out and see if anyone enjoys this type of content and this type of information. I always think if you can learn from others' mistakes instead of learning from your own mistakes, that's always the best option. And that's why I want to share it, so you can learn from my mistakes and bring something really great to the market if that's what you want to do. So anyway, as I always say, stay positive, stay creative. I've got a lot of videos about making picture books on my channel. You'll probably want to watch those next if you also want to do picture books, and I'll continue to build that out. You can check that out right here, and I'll see you in the next video.